Okay, hello class, welcome. This is your instructor. I'm Venta, and I am going to show you today how to make this, a GIF from video. This is usually your own video, or if you have the know-how to screen capture or grab video from television shows, movies, and things like that, and create your own GIFs. For now, we're just going to be focusing on how to make from your own videos. This is beneficial in terms of if you want to have your own brand, or if you're a vlogger and you want to then showcase those video elements on social media. Sometimes it's nice to create a GIF out of it, and then you can post that pretty much anywhere, especially on Twitter, which is this is the end result of my GIF, and that's kind of what we're going for here. So I already have some elements pre-made though. If we go over, actually, I did not want to do that. So I already have some pre-mades. For one, I actually went to the Grand Junction Ren Fair, 2018, and there was jousting. So this is the actual video that I took. Boom! Cool, right? So 12 seconds. It's 4K video as well that was taken. Now I wanted to create a GIF of the moment. The thing is though, 12 seconds is really long to put into a video, and also because of certain different file sizes for different websites, you need to be aware of that in terms of making your GIFs. So GIFs are really meant to focus on core action. So if we look at this one, the core action, this is it. That's the key moment right there. And so when I was thinking about what would make for a good GIF in your videos, you really want to think about what are key and exciting moments, what are interesting reactions, and things like that. So this is what I decided I want to make it of. So the first thing was actually trimming down the video to isolate just this couple seconds that I want. The reason you want to do that is because when you upload a full video, import it into, you go File and go Import and Video Frames to Layers, is when you do this, if you select the full 12 seconds. Now I did this actually when I uploaded it to see, it came out to 134 frames. So you can do from beginning, otherwise select range. Limit to every 2. You can limit it to only pick certain frames every couple frames. If you want to create GIFs for Tumblr, this is what you want to do. You want to make sure that you take a limit so that it brings down frame rates. Which actually helps bring down the size of the compression of the video so that it makes it easier to fit everything in and still look good and be uploaded to these websites. But I went from beginning to end. I got to 134 frames, which is just ridiculous. So after I edited out only the section that I wanted right here, that video is just somewhat, but there we go. So I went and edited out only the section that I want. As you can see, it's only about a second, but that second comes out to a ton of frame rates still in and of itself. So what I did is when I went File, sorry, let's get back into Photoshop. I went File, Import, Video Frames to Layers, and then you select, and I select Huzzah. And then you just select open. What I did for this one though is I did select every 2 frames just because it is a 4K video. So the higher resolution of the video quality makes it so that it might be a little bit harder on the compression. So I selected go ahead every 2 frames, and then it came out to 17. Now I did actually delete a couple, about 3 or 4 frames that came out there, but here's the case. So when you upload your video, you're going to get this, your timeline. If your timeline doesn't pop up, just go to Window and select Timeline so that it comes up. It's your video kind of editor. And then, it'll play it out when it happens. So let's actually do that so that I can show you how the original came out. Huzzah, we'll open it. I went limited to every 2 frames, beginning to end, upload. And it'll take this process to go. All right, so this is what it ends up looking like. Oh, I did get 17 frames. Cool. So as you can see, it takes a while to already upload all of the different frames because it is such a high resolution video. And we can already see the speed here. It takes a while for this computer to warm up a bit. And there we go. So as you can see already, though, it's a little clunky in the sense that you can tell the little bits that are going on there, but that's okay because we can tell how it looks like in this size. But the point is, though, is that we want to get it to this size where now you can see it's a little bit smoother, looks a little bit better in terms of that. So this is what you're going to do. The great benefit, though, of having this is that when you want to edit, let's say that we don't like the size. I want to crop this because there's all this dead space right over here. There's no use for it. So now I can crop it, but make sure that you select every single frame because when you do the cropping like this and you don't have every frame selected, it's only going to crop those frames that you've selected, which would make for an awkward GIF. So now I have that. And so there you go. So now you can crop everything. Uploads. And you can play it, just double check because I want to make sure I have this splatter. So I didn't want to crop too much up top. So this is cool. Okay, cool. But it's still actually quite big. So for example, if we go file, you always want to go save for web. Export. Export save for web. And we look at the file size right now. Let's see what it is when it wants to pop up. So the file size right now is 24.7 megabytes. That's way too big for web. For web, you want to try and get as below 10, even 8. For Tumblr GIFs, you're looking at getting even lower than that, way below 5 megabytes so that it can upload. Because there are file size limits on that one, not just file size sizes. So we have a lot of things here. For one thing, though, we have the image size itself is still too big. So we can go image. I always just select everything just in case, but you can also just go to last one and do it. But make sure that you just do that and then you're covered. Image size. So this is 2,500 pixels. That's ginormous. So I want to change this to, I'm going to go with 800. That's usually a good one. Now, it is going to compress the quality, right? Because it's going to make everything smaller and things like that. So if you have a big picture image that you don't want the size to take away from that, that's something to consider. But otherwise, that's cool. That's not bad. It's only a 33% view, too, so you can change that if you want to view it closer. No, I don't want to crop. Stop that. Don't crop. So there are other things that we can change, too. Now, if we go and look and refile size, if we look at File, Export, Save for Web, all right, now we are down to 3.18. That's perfect. But if you did want to bring a file size, a compression even down lower, you can change the color that it actually comes out. 256 is high number of colors for what's in there, so you can change it so that it's lower. Whatever is going to be as close. That for me takes away from the quality though. So whatever you feel is gonna. That's not bad. That's not too bad. We get some pixelation, but that's okay. But it brings down our file size to 2.85. That's actually still too big for Tumblr. But in terms for Twitter and for Instagram and for Facebook, it can take bigger file sizes. So that's fine. I left mine to normal, but that's fine. And so those are some of the main elements that you can change there. So once I have that, now you can even get fancier if you want to change, for example, the color. You can make all sorts of adjustments here. But remember, any kind of adjustments that you make here might affect the overall file size. So be careful in not doing too much, not adding too much. If you add text, and you can add text to this and have that appear, you just have to make sure that it appears on all of them. But remember that affects all of the sizes. I usually like to do my text on Illustrator, and then what I'll do is from Illustrator, I will copy and paste it to a file on. That's not usually what the typing will look like, but you'll get the idea. But anything you do, you can do this, and then it'll appear. So the cool thing is too, is you can make it so that if you only want text to appear on one or two, let's say you don't want it to appear here, and delete that. I got rid of it entirely. I lost my text box. But that's the idea that you can have. You can do a lot of different controls in terms of text. So like I said, I like to make my text in Illustrator because text looks better for me made in Illustrator, and then just copy and paste it on top of the GIF. Now remember that once you have that done, there's you lose your editing kind of element there. So a lot of the editing for the text you'll have to do back in Illustrator if you've made a mistake, and then put it back into Photoshop. But that's not such a big deal. But it doesn't have to have that either. Go. I decided. Where's that one? Oh, there it is on that layer. I made it disappear. I love that. So, all sorts of stuff that you can do. Just be careful of what is going to affect file sizes and things like that. So I made that one disappear. Bring that back. Oh, made that one disappear too. So there you go. And then, anyway, so made that work here. And then once you have what you want, so this one, I didn't change any of the colors or anything like that. I just kept it what it is. Once it's done, file, export, save for web. Once it's all good, you can test it to double check. But once you test it, I found that it was a little bit slower here, so don't freak out too much. 3.24 in the end is what I have for this one because I made the size a little bit bigger and I kept the color at 256. But I'm okay with 3.214 because I'm not making this for Tumblr, and I know that that fits for Twitter size, especially at the 800, 850 size is fine. So save and then save it wherever you want it. I've already saved 3 different versions, so there it is. And then once you're done with it, you can go test it and open it. And then once you're done, you can just go and upload it. Desktop, find it. I had a different version here on this one. This one you can see I changed the colors, but it didn't quite come out as right. So I like this one more. It's simpler, it fits, and then when you load it, there it goes. Pops on, no problem. That's usually a good test to see if it works. You can also get the always get the link from that and put that on there. So that works out too. And so there you go. That's pretty much the basics of what you need to know about creating a GIF from here. Oh, actually there is one element. So here you can change the timing. If you want it to be faster or slower, you can do that. So right now I'm at 0.07 delay. Let's say I want it to be slower. Let's put it at 0.5, and now when we play it, that actually might be really slow. Whoa, that's slow. It's like molasses. There you go. So you can determine what speed you want for yours. For this one, 0.03 might actually be really fast. Let's see how that goes. 0.03 is usually a good, almost realistic look. So yeah, it's almost a little too fast, but it works. But I like my 0.07 one because it kind of is dramatic enough and things like that. Has a nice little slow-mo, but especially with that moment that kind of comes out. So you can change the speed so that you can affect that how fast you want and how slow you want. So yes, with that, that's kind of the basics. From here, you can learn all sorts of stuff about getting creative with GIFs and how you want to use them in terms of the content that you have to kind of accentuate those things. And that's it.